This is St. Michael's Square, more or less in the center of Kyiv. If you want to know something about the church, maybe I'll do that next time I come, when the war's over. Or maybe someone else has done it. Today we have an exhibition of Russian equipment that was destroyed in the initial attack against Ukraine. So this is equipment that was destroyed in the region of the Kyiv airport, Hostomel, and so we've got a T-72 there. We've got a couple of armored fighting vehicles. We've got a radio jamming equipment, communications thing. And here we've all got memorials to the victims of the Kremlin, in this case the past. 1932, 1933 is the Holodomor. Between 3.9 and 4.5 million people, nearly all in Ukraine, or most of them, in overwhelming majority in Ukraine, because it wasn't just Ukrainians who were killed in Holodomor, because it was southern Russia as well. But it was the Kremlin, it was the deliberate policy to cause starvation in order to steal grain from the farmers and give it to the cities. Interestingly enough, now 90 years later, the Kremlin continues to steal grain from Ukrainian farmers. The same thing as it did before, trying to create famine as a deliberate policy. Here we have pictures of the people who died during the Maidan protests in early 2014, protests which were against corruption, the falsification of elections, and that in turn led to the Russian intervention, because obviously Putin and his kleptocratic regime cannot have democratic countries which fight corruption and theft. And these are the people who have given their lives in this war of Putin's. So, memorial wall to the fallen defenders of Ukraine in the Russian-Ukrainian war. So in March 2014 we had the invasion of the Donbass, pretending they were separatists. I don't doubt that some of them were separatists, but it was done by the Russian army. The same as the attack on Crimea, it was the Russian army that did it. So, first person here was killed on the 18th of March, Sergei Kokupin at the top there. And there's Sergei, first person to die. He was born the 1st of January 1978. So he was 36 years old when he was killed, and he was the first of many. So the problem was, as long as this war in the Donbass was going on, the attacks, the fact that Russia had seized part of Ukraine and pretended there were two supposedly independent Marxist sounding republics, but it was held by the Russian army, and there's no question of that. Vice News in 2014 did something called Selfie Soldiers. It identified Russian soldiers who were there. From the VKontakte, that's like a Russian Facebook site. It took the geolocations in it, found where these people had taken photographs, and confirmed without any question that they were there. The leaders of the Lugansk and Donetsk are all born in Russia, and the terrorists who started this almost entirely Russian. They were not locals. All these people have died because of Putin's geographical, geopolitical childishness. As Angela Merkel said, a 21st century leader with a 19th century mindset. I would like to actually take people individually and talk more about them, but as you can see, I don't really know much about them. The problem was, during all of the time of this aggression against Ukraine, the world appeased Putin. That's why it's so stupid to believe that Putin can now continue to be appeased. And during this time, whilst these people were dying, there was preparations for the World Cup in Russia. No question of moving it away from Russia or anything like that. So while people were playing football in various cities in Russia, these people here were dying. Think about that one. So the last person shown here is from the 21st of July 2020, but as we know, that's not when the last person died. In fact, there's been far more people since then. So it says here, the worst day was the 29th of August 2014, up until now, obviously. So got some information there about this. The sunflower symbolizes Ukraine. 24 petals, 24 regional centers. Torn off petal in the south is the Crimean Peninsula that was occupied by the Russians. It's withered and dehydrated without Ukraine at the same time having a form of tear, symbolizes the sorrows of families and friends of those who were killed fighting for its freedom and independence. So there we see the idea of the sunflower. Two petals are folded from the south, representing Luganskaya and Donetskaya oblasts, which have been partly occupied by Russia with the help of local collaborators. The central part of the sunflower symbolizes the people of Ukraine. Seeds don't fall out because they stick together. This is the power of the sunflower. This plant cannot be bent to the ground. It can only be broken using major efforts. After getting in the ground, each grain will grow and give a sizable harvest. It is possible if you save and take care of Ukraine. So I've filmed quite a lot here on this war of aggression against Ukraine, and for me as a historian, what comes back into my mind is what happened in the 1930s when the world appeased Hitler. Today's Hitler is Putin. Today's Nazism is the fascist regime in the Kremlin, which openly says it wants to commit genocide against the Ukrainian people. I've done videos on this, and how, in fact, a video which I showed an article in RIA Novosti, the Kremlin propaganda mouthpiece, about how they intend to commit genocide against the Ukrainian people. So what choice is there? And as we've sort of seen from Holodomor and other things happen in the past, this is something which has been going on for many years. It's not something new that Putin invented. There's been attempts to wipe out Ukraine going back a very long time. Therefore, the parallels with the Nazi regime that wanted to wipe out the Jews and turn Slavs into slaves is the same as what we have here today. It's the fight against Putin's Nazis. If you're interested, I've done a lot more material on this conflict. I think I'm going to be here for quite some time. So if you want to know more, then subscribe. Thanks for watching.